In today's tutorial, let's learn how to do the Snowman family. This video is for the child size, and this is another free pattern available by yarnspirations.com. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to make the Snowman family, and we're going to be making the child size that you see. Both mom and pop are both the same size, but this obviously the child is a little bit smaller. Today's tutorial we're going to cover how to make the child size. This is a really easy pattern to be able to follow along. We're going to be going through some instructions. Let me show you how to do that. So for today's tutorial I'm going to be using Bernat Handicrafter. I'm going to be using blue because obviously my background is white. You'll never see the white if I'm crocheting with it. It's asking for Bernat Holiday Handicrafter Holidays, just like you see here. You could also use Karen's Simply Soft Party. It has a bit of sparkle to it as well. You're going to need some buttons for the face, okay, and you're going to need some kind of fabric or felt for the scarf, and then the sewing work that you see within the mouth and the arms that you can see. You can just look at the photo and just be able to follow along in order to just to match it as close as you can, or you can use more creativity and even take it to a whole nother level. For today's project you're going to need a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, a size F. I don't have that in stock, so I'm using a 4 millimeter today. So we're going to be starting, and it says the small snowman starts right here, and it says work 2 asterisks to the 2 asterisks for the large snowman, and I've done this here in the highlighting of what we're going to be doing before jumping then to the final rounds in order to make it. You should know that these are just tubes, so just visualize yourself with medication or a pill. These are just the same size tubes, and the neck is being pulled in by yarn, and also the scarf is then kind of hiding it. So it's a very easy thing to do. So if this one actually you can kind of see it, it's just a pill shape, and because of the way the neck is then pulled in, it makes it look like it has a neck. So it's just kind of an illusion. So within today's tutorial we're going to then just go through the instructions as you see here, and then finish it off, and then we'll have another tutorial on how to do mom and pop within the Snowman family. So let's start off with the slip knot. So in today's tutorial I'm going to be switching out the instructions for joining every time we're finishing a round. I'm going to do a continuous round. This will eliminate any of the slip stitching that you would see. So this is an alteration that I would have. You're going to need a stitch marker or a spare piece of yarn just like so in order to make this happen. Let's begin and start with the instructions. So we're gonna start at the large snowman on the left hand side of the paper. Okay, and we're gonna follow this where you see it within the highlighting, and then we're gonna jump over and continue with the small snowman over there. You will need a tape measure for this as well. So let's begin. We're going to start off by chaining 2, so 1 and 2, and what we want to do for round number 1, we want to put 6 single crochets, second chain for the hook, which is the starting. So here's where I'm going to show you at the end for changing. So we got 1, and it's gonna go in a round circle, 2, we have 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now as I promised you I'm gonna deviate from the instructions, so this is what I want you to change. So in the bottom of this stitch right here, just slip underneath, grab your place marker or your stitch marker and just pull a portion of it through, and this will indicate to you next time you round which one is the end. Okay, so just pull everything tight. So when we go to start the next round, what we're gonna do is that we're immediately going to jump on top of the next stitch. So just visualize the snail's back. So we're just gonna go in a continuous revolution, so we never have to do any kind of slip stitching, and you'll never see it. So round number 2, we're immediately going to jump all the way over to here. Okay, so just go to the first one. If you're not sure, you should be able to see 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is right underneath. So then that one that starts off with the 6 is that's where we're gonna begin. So we're going to put in 2 single crochets into each one of these stitches going all the way around. Okay, so 1 and 2, and then the next one just 1 and 2. The next one is 1 and 2. Always getting started is a little tight. And the next one, 1 and 2. Next one is 1 and 2. Now the very final stitch that you see here, this is with the stitch marker, that's the final one of this revolution, and you're gonna still put in 2 there. And on the second one, that's where you're gonna move the stitch marker up. So go in to the base, grab that stitch marker and just pull through. Okay, so that stitch marker is just gonna follow you all the way through. And that was round number 2. In round number 3, again, because I'm substituting instructions, you're not gonna chain 1 first, is that you're just gonna do 1 single crochet into the first one, and the next one will have 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Whoops, that was 2. And then the next one is gonna be 1, and then the next one is gonna have 2 in there. So 1 and 2. Continue that same pattern going all the way around. So 1 into 1 and then 2 into the next, and keep alternating like that all the way around. If your math is right, even if you're doing the slip stitching technique that they're telling you, the very final stitch will have 2 single crochets in it. And once you get there, please move up your stitch marker if you're doing it my way, and just pull through underneath like so. And that concludes off round number 3. So let's keep on going for round number 4. So round number 4, so again I'm not doing the chain 1 because of the way that I'm doing it, but you'll do that if you're doing the slip stitching technique. So for this one, the first 2 are going to be by themselves. So 1, and then the next one is gonna be 1, and then the next one is gonna have 2 in it. So that's your repeat pattern for this whole round. Let me review that one more time. The next one is gonna be by itself, and the next one, so 2 by themselves, and then the next one has 2 in it. Continue to do that all the way around, and that's round number 4. So for the small snowman, I've come all the way around and I've got 2 in the final. So you'll notice that there's double asterisks at the end, and let me tell you a little bit more about this pattern and show you that. So in the pattern you have 2 double asterisks, and if you look at the small snowman it says work 2 double asterisks, 2 double asterisks. So there's double up here and there's the final, and that's why I did the highlighting. Now this area over here is how we're going to be able to finish this when we get to this around here. So what we have to do is that we just have to then move up to these instructions as you see in order to be able to follow. So we have to work the 2 double asterisks to the double asterisks, which we've done. It says next round is chain 1 single crochet in each round, and we repeat the last round until it measures 3 inches. And then what we're going to do is then work 3 asterisks to 3 asterisks as the large snowman, which is up here. Okay, so this is a way of doing multiple patterns within one because they're very similar to each other. So let's move along to this section here, going for the next round of 1 single crochet into each, and then we need a tape measure from this point. So for this revolution is 1 single crochet into each. When we're finished this revolution we need to mark it with another stitch marker that's a different color, because we need to go 3 inches of just doing this single crochet technique, just going around and around, and because we're not gaining any more stitches and we're not getting any smaller, it's going to start becoming the outside of the snowman. So it's going to be the body. So we're gone from the foot to the body, I guess, within this round by doing it this way. And you'll notice it's going to start curving up on yourself. So when you go to do that, just flip it so that it's away from you, and it's just easier to operate, and you have the good side that you want on the outside of the snowman as well. So I'm almost, well, not really. I'm continuing, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm almost there. So I want to keep an eye on that stitch marker, and I want to keep moving it up even though I have to go 3 inches. It just helps me to know where the stop and start is when it comes to this stuff. So this is my last one. Move up that stitch marker. And what I want you to do is I want you to grab a different color stitch marker, and I'm gonna do that, and I'll show you how to mark that next. So right where the last stitch is right now, I want to just put in a stitch marker in there as well, and I'm going to put it, and it's gonna be purple. So this is gonna indicate to me that this is where I need to measure the 3 inches from. So what I need to do then is that I need to continue to circle this thing around continuously until it becomes 3 inches from this point all the way to the next. So you just have to continue to just single crochet and just move up your other stitch marker so you know where the stop and starts are, and then you can just continue. So when I come back I'm gonna have that 3 inches done, and then we're gonna start doing the decrease, which is probably the head of the snowman as well. Okay, so just continue to do that and I'll see you back here. Get your 3 inches done and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So off camera I have done just single crochets all the way around and around and around until I got 3 inches from here to here. Okay, so now let's go back to look at the instructions and I'm gonna show you where to look at in order to finish off, and this is the, again the child size of the Snowman family. So in the instructions I've just finished off this area here. Next round is 1 single crochet until it measures 3 inches from the marked round. Okay, so now it says work 3 asterisks to 3 asterisks for the large snowman. So we're gonna come up here and we're going to go from here to here in order to finish off, and really all we're just gonna do is single crochet 2 togethers for I think 3 rounds and then we're done. You're going to need some stuffing, so it says the first instruction is stuff the snowman. So stuff it, don't overstuff it crazy. If you want a flat bottom to it, if you overstuff it then it's gonna be completely round and then it'll probably fall over. So I've taken out my crochet hook just so I can stuff it. Okay, so just grab some stuffing and just put it inside. Now you don't wanna so it's bulging out at the top because it'll get in the way of your stitches, so you just kinda wanna go to the area where you're crocheting at this point. So see how far it's going down. I think I just want to put in a little bit more just to have a little bit of security to it. And again I can keep adding more as I go. So let's continue in the instructions and see what we need to do. We only have 3 rounds left for the child size snowman. So it says to chain 1, but I'm not doing that because I'm doing a continuous revolution. So if you want to do it that way, it's up to you. So it says 1 single crochet in the next 2 and then the single crochet 2 together. So the first 2 are going to be by itself. So 1 and 2 are by itself, and then the next one are 2 together. So you go in, pull through and hold. You go into the next one, pull through and hold, and then pull through all 3. I'll show that again. So the next 2 are by themselves. So 1 and 2, and then the next one is 2 together. So going in, pull through, hold, going in, pull through, hold, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And you continue to do that same patterning. So the first 2 are by themselves and then going into the next 2. So 1 and hold, 1 and hold, and then pull through all 3. Continue to do that until you get to the stitch marker. When you get all the way around on this revolution, the final one will be the one that needs the stitch marker, and because there's 2 coming into that one, we still have to move that stitch marker up. It just helps us keep track of where we are in the project. So let's put our hook back in. Let's go on for the next round. Be mindful if you need to add more stuffing, this is the time to add a little bit more if you need it, and if you don't, then don't. So let's carry on to the next revolution. Okay, for this revolution the next one is just 1 single crochet by itself and then the next 2 are together, and we continue that same pattern going around. So the 1's by itself and the next 2 are together. Continue to do that all the way around. So if your math is still right, the final 2 are together, and then make sure you move up that stitch marker, and we have 1 more row to go. And I'm gonna add a little bit more stuffing. Do you see how I'm gonna have a hollow space there? I'm just gonna add a little bit more in there. You have to use your best judgment. If you have way too much in here and you see that the yarn is starting to split open, so it's like the snowman is bleeding stuffing, then you can just put your hook in somewhere strategic, maybe in the neck area, and actually just pull, using your crochet hook, just pull some stuffing out if it's overinflated. If it doesn't have enough, it's harder to get it in there, but you can be really strategic too. Don't ask me because you might have to wreck your project in order to do that. So it's better to plan ahead than it is to regret it at the end of not having enough. Let's carry on and let's do the final round together. So here's the final revolution. The next 2 are together, and guess what? They're all going to be together. So the next 2 are then together. So there's no single crochets by itself. And you keep doing that all the way around. It's only gonna take me a few seconds. And you're going to be left with a little small space left at the top, so you can put more stuffing in if you have to, and then if not, then you can use that opportunity to give it a close and finalize off the shape. So the final 2 are together, and you will have a little space like this. But at this point what I want you to do is I want you to trim your yarn trim your yarn and just pull up, pull out your stitch marker, this one, or pull it this one, keep that purple one into position. It looks like I might have wrapped that around. So you want to take this out, and what we want to do is that we can just take everything out, actually, to be honest with you. Oh no, we can't. We have to leave that in. What am I talking about? We can take out the green one. So I'm gonna take out the green one off camera, and then I'm gonna show you how to close the top. To close this, all we just need to do is just use your darning needle, and I want you to just thread your yarn through the eye of the needle, and I want you to just go back and forth and just close the top. So make sure it's got your stuffing that you want in there, and just simply close it. Now what I technically like to do is that the side that compresses itself on this side, see this side looks a lot more finished than this side, and it's just because of the stitch work. It's not you, it's not the crochet, it just happens to be the way that the stitches work out. This is normal. So what I would technically do if I were you is that when I go to use this, I would turn it over so where the finishing is down, and then you end up with a beautiful top on the top, just like so. So we still have one more little minor detail before you can do some finishing techniques. We have to establish the neck. You'll notice that, as I promised you, it's like a pill shape, so you want to make sure that you secure the neck. So to get rid of the string at the final end, just kind of push it through, and you can trim it right in there, and then the remainder will relax and it'll fall inside of the snow character, just like this. Okay, so this is what you look like. Again, it's like a big blue pill. Anybody thinking a matrix? So I'm taking out my stitch marker, and all I just need to do then is take the same color of yarn, and let's trim off a piece. And what I like to do is just create a slip knot and hold that and grab my yarn needle. And what I want to do is look at the photo and look where the neck is on this character, and you can just look, it's the small one. It's almost halfway up. So what I would just do is that come in, just come into where you think it should be, and this is gonna make the neck. So just go through the eye of the needle. Okay, and in the same revolution just go in and out a few times. And what we're gonna do at the end of this revolution is that we're gonna pull it all nice and tight, and this is gonna create an indentation for the neck. You don't need anything too elaborate or crazy. Now because I have gone in a continuous round, when I follow it up it's gonna be on the next round, so at some point you're just gonna have to dive back down and to keep it inconsistent. Okay, so once I'm all the way around, which I am, I'm going to do a pull technique. So I'm just going to, this is not technical, so I'm just gonna pull it. Okay, and this is gonna pull in the neck. Okay, and you can also do this too if you want to go around with the string, just to kind of continue it, because your scarf is gonna go over top of it, and all you just have to do then is tie it into place, and this will establish where your scarf should go on your little snow character. Okay, so nothing too extreme, and then this will be the head, and this will obviously be the bottom. Just tie this into position in the back, and the leftover string, what I would do, just feed it right through the project, coming out somewhere else, and that's where you would trim it out. The starting strand that you had, what I would do with that one, so this other little string, all you can just do is take a smaller crochet hook, just go on the inside of the character and just grab that yarn and kind of pull it through. Okay, so now you can safely trim that out because it's gone through your character a little bit. And now you're just gonna take your fabric and you're going to wrap it around to make the scarf. You can use a sewing needle, or you can use a hot glue gun. You can do the eyes, and just look at the photo, where did the arms go. I think for the small one there are no arms on this one, and basically you have your little snow character just like this. So at the end this is what it will look like. Now you just have to apply your buttons for your eyes and a carrot and an orange button for a nose. The mouth and the arms, there is no mouth and arms on the little baby one, so you don't have to worry about this one. This is a nice and simple one. You can use a hot glue gun and glue on your buttons if you wish. You can do a sewing needle if you prefer. Just grab a piece of fabric, whatever you want to make the scarf, and then you're good to go, and that would be your little snow character, and that would be how you do it. So this is the Snowman family. This is the child size, and this is a great tutorial on behalf of Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. Stay tuned, we will have the adult version available to you if you would like to complete the family of making mom and pop